What if the very walls you built to keep yourself totally safe are like the exact things blocking your biggest financial windfall?
Oh, that is such a huge question right now.
Right. Well, welcome back to Horoscope TV. Today we are tearing open the April astrological charts directly for you.
Yes, specifically for our listener born under the sign of Cancer.
Exactly. We are going to map out, exactly what the sky is doing this month, and more importantly, how those cosmic gears turning millions of miles away are going to actually shift the reality of your daily life.
It is a month of massive, massive structural changes. I mean, for anyone with strong Cancer placements, April brings a very distinct push and pull energy.
A huge push and pull.
Right. So we are going to analyze the movements of the planets, the specific angles they make to each other, and the changing phases of the moon. This will help us understand exactly why this month feels so pivotal for your work, your money, your physical health, and your relationships.
And the overarching mission for you this month, like the story the charts are telling from week 1 to week 4, is all about stepping out of your comfortable protective shell.
Which is hard for a Cancer.
Oh, totally hard. The sky is essentially forcing you to achieve some truly massive career goals. But the catch is, while you are climbing that professional ladder, you are also going to be navigating some very unexpected twists in your social and romantic life.
The huge juggling act.
Yeah, it really is.
Our goal today is to basically break down the mechanics of those twists and turns. We want to analyze not just what is going to happen, but, why it is happening.
Right, getting to the why is
Yes,
so important.
exactly. We are going to explain the geometry of the planets in plain, simple language so you can actually see the clockwork
Yeah.
behind these events. There's absolutely no need to feel overwhelmed by the astrology.
Right, we aren't going to just throw a bunch of confusing jargon at you. We're going to explain how it all works on a very practical level. When I was looking at the astro charts for this coming month, that old image of a butterfly coming out of its cocoon kept popping into my head.
Oh, that's a classic one.
It is. But you know what? People always make that metaphor sound so cute and gentle, like, oh, it just wakes up and flutters away. They forget the actual biology of what happens inside that shell.
Yeah, the actual process of metamorphosis is super intense. It is messy and a bit chaotic. It is definitely not a gentle waking up.
Exactly. The caterpillar doesn't just instantly grow wings. It has to completely break down its old self.
Right, it physically changes form.
Yeah. It takes a massive amount of hard work, friction, and energy to break out of that protective shell. It is physically uncomfortable. And staying in the cocoon is safe and warm, which is exactly what a Cancer naturally prefers.
Of course, that's their baseline.
Right. But to actually fly, you have to push through the discomfort. When you finally step out and spread those wings, the beautiful results are completely worth the messy middle period. That is the exact blueprint for your April.
That is a very accurate way to frame the astrological charts right now. I mean, if we look at the timeline, the friction of that transformation starts immediately.
Like right out of the gate.
Right. The month opens with a very strong pull between the place you feel safest and the place where you're being asked to grow. We really need to look closely at the first major event on April 2.
Okay, let's get into it.
We have a full moon happening in the sign of Libra.
Let's unpack the mechanics of that. What exactly is a full moon doing in the sky, and why does it being in Libra matter so much to a Cancer?
Well, from a physical standpoint, a full moon happens when the sun and the moon are exactly opposite each other in the sky, with the Earth right in the middle.
Okay, picture that straight line.
Exactly. So the sun's light is fully hitting the moon, making it shine as brightly as possible in the night sky. In astrology, the sun represents your conscious focus, like the things you are actively trying to do.
Your outward goals.
Right. The moon, on the other hand, represents your hidden feelings, your emotional needs, and your private life. So when they're opposite each other, it creates this intense tension.
Like a rubber band being stretched.
Yes. It acts like a giant spotlight, taking the things you usually keep hidden in the dark and lighting them up so brightly that you just cannot ignore them anymore.
So it brings things to the surface. It forces you to look at whatever is in that giant spotlight.
Yes, it really does. And for you, as a Cancer, when a full moon lands in the sign of Libra, that spotlight points directly at your home sector.
The home sector, that's a huge deal for this sign.
It's massive. In astrological charts, we divide your life into 12 houses or, sections. Libra rules the 4th house for you, which is the very bottom of the chart. It represents your physical house, your family, your roots, and your deepest sense of private security.
Which, for a Cancer, is basically your entire heart. I mean, your home is your ultimate sanctuary.
It is the absolute foundation of everything you do. Cancers naturally crave a safe, quiet home environment. But right now, the sun is in the sign of Aries.
And Aries is way up at the top, right?
Exactly. It's at the very top of your chart. Aries rules your career and public reputation. So the sun is pulling you up toward your big career goals, but the full moon is pulling your attention all the way down to your living room.
Oh, wow. So you are literally being stretched in two completely different directions.
Yes, it creates a very intense balancing act. It is a literal tug-of-war between your demanding work life and your deep need for a peaceful private life.
You just want to go out and conquer the world and impress your boss, but the sky is pointing a giant floodlight at your house saying, hold on, you have to fix your foundation first.
That is the exact mechanism at play.
Oh.
Before you can totally focus on your big professional dreams, you actually have to handle the structural issues at home. I mean, if the roots of a tree are rotting, the branches cannot grow high into the sky.
That makes total sense. And the charts actually point to some very specific real-world examples of how this Libra full moon might show up.
Right, it's rarely just a concept.
Yeah, it isn't just a vague feeling of being torn. It often manifests as something very physical. For instance, you might find yourself needing to completely finish a frustrating home repair.
Oh, absolutely.
Say the sink has been leaking for weeks, or there's a crack in a window and you've just been putting it off because work is so busy.
And you just don't have the energy for it.
Right, but the full moon spotlight says, you cannot ignore this leak anymore. Fix it now.
It completely forces action. And because Libra is a sign that deals heavily with relationships and balance, the home issue might not be physical plumbing, you know? It could be emotional plumbing.
Ooh, emotional plumbing. I like that.
The astrological data shows you might need to have a very important and perhaps quite heavy family talk. There might be an imbalance in your household. Maybe someone isn't pulling their weight with the chores, or a family member is just repeatedly crossing a boundary.
And you just can't let it slide anymore.
Right. You have to set those boundaries straight before you can freely chase your professional dreams.
That makes so much sense on a psychological level. I mean, you can't walk into a boardroom and give a killer presentation if the whole time you were secretly distracted by, like, an unresolved argument you had with your sister that morning.
Now your energy is totally split.
Exactly. You can't focus on a promotion if you are stressing about a broken heater at your house. You have to secure the home base first so your mind is actually free to work.
And that ties directly into the next layer of this April 2 full moon, which is your money.
Oh boy, money and home repairs.
Yeah, because whether you are dealing with a sudden home repair like a broken heater or a structural family issue, it almost always involves your finances.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, a broken water heater isn't just annoying, it is incredibly expensive.
Precisely. The astrological charts indicate that this full moon energy might bring a sudden home expense or a family purchase that you simply cannot avoid.
You just have to pay it.
Right, because this expense is tied to the unpredictable nature of the full moon spotlight, you have to be very careful with how you handle your cash in the early days of April. You need to stick to a strict budget.
A strict budget, meaning you map out exactly what is coming in and what is going out with, like, zero wiggle room.
Zero wiggle room. The warning from the charts here is very firm. You must avoid spending your hard-earned cash on temporary emotional thrills just to try and feel better.
That is so tempting, though.
It is. When a Cancer feels their home life is stressed or out of balance, their natural emotional reaction is to seek instant comfort. But you cannot buy real comfort right now. Finding true financial peace must be your main goal, because financial peace is what will actually calm your nervous system.
I think a lot of people relate to that urge. When things feel out of control, you just want a quick fix.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question on behalf of the listener. Let's say you are sitting on your couch at night. You are feeling incredibly stressed out by this sudden house repair, or maybe a really draining family argument. You pull out your phone. How do you stop yourself from going online and doing some late-night shopping just to get that quick hit of joy?
Well, to stop that behavior, we have to analyze where the urge actually comes from. When you online shop because you are stressed, you're looking for a dopamine hit.
Right, a little rush of happiness.
Exactly. You are trying to purchase a feeling of safety or a feeling of control over your environment. You think, my house is a mess, but at least I can control buying this nice new lamp.
Wow, yes, I've totally done that.
Most of us have. But for a Cancer, true emotional safety does not come from a cardboard delivery box showing up on your porch. True emotional safety comes from knowing your bank account is protected.
It's about the security of the resource itself, not the objects the resource can buy.
Exactly. It comes from looking at your budget spreadsheet and knowing you have enough saved up for a rainy day. If you spend that money on a temporary thrill, like an expensive jacket or a new gadget, that feeling of control lasts maybe 10 minutes.
And then the guilt sets in.
Yes. The next morning, when you check your bank balance and see the number has dropped, your anxiety will be twice as high. You will have just added financial stress on top of the family stress.
That is a brilliant way to reframe it. The temporary thrill is a trap. The best way to actually feel safe and calm is to guard your wallet. Keep the money safe, and you keep your heart safe.
That is the foundation you absolutely must build in the first week of April. Because once you get past that early balancing act, once the home front is secure and the budget is locked in, the energy in the sky shifts in a massive, very noticeable way.
It's like flipping a switch. The astro charts show that your professional life becomes the absolute center of your universe during the first half of the month.
It really takes over.
It's as if you secured the roots of the tree, and now the universe clears the sky for your branches to grow rapidly.
Yes, and the main planetary engine driving this rapid growth is Mars. Mars is the planet that rules action, physical energy, drive, and ambition.
It's the action planet.
Exactly. Think of Mars as the gas pedal in a car.
Mm-hmm.
On April 9, Mars moves into the sign of Aries.
Now, Aries is a fire sign, and it is actually the sign that Mars rules, right?
That's right.
So we have the planet of action moving into its favorite fire sign, and this is happening right at the very top of your chart, in your career sector.
When a planet is in the sign, it naturally rules. We say it is in its domicile. It is like Mars is sleeping in its own bed, eating its own food, operating at 100% power.
It's comfortable and super strong.
Extremely strong. It completely lights up your career sector with fierce, highly ambitious energy. When we analyze the mechanics of this transit, it means the usual caution you feel as a Cancer is going to just burn away. You're going to feel totally fearless.
Fearless is a strong word for a Cancer. Usually you want to, test the waters first, maybe dip a toe in.
Not with Mars in Aries. This energy makes you completely ready to take on major leadership roles. If you have been sitting in the background doing the hard work but letting other people take the credit,
Which happens a lot.
it does. But April 9 changes that. You will feel a physical push to step forward and own your work.
So April 9 is a date to circle in bright red ink on your calendar. That is the day to put your brave face on. The charts indicate this is the perfect time to pitch new ideas to your boss or apply for a position that feels slightly out of your league.
Absolutely. Go for the big ask.
Show the people in charge exactly how capable you truly are. Do not retreat back into the cocoon.
You really cannot retreat because the momentum in the sky just keeps building.
Yeah.
Little over a week later, on April 17th, there is a new moon. And it is also in the sign of Aries.
We talked about the full moon earlier, which is about things reaching a peak and coming to light. A new moon is the opposite part of the cycle, right?
Correct. A new moon happens when the sun and the moon are in the exact same place in the sky. So from Earth, the moon looks dark. It is the very beginning of the lunar cycle.
A fresh start.
Exactly. In astrology, a new moon always acts as a blank slate. It is a time for fresh starts and planting seeds for the future. Because this new moon is happening in your career sector, right alongside that fiery Mars energy, it allows you to set massive new financial goals connected to your profession.
So Mars gives you the sheer courage to speak up on April 9, and then the new moon on April 17 gives you the vision to map out exactly what you want.
Right, the specific details.
Like asking for a raise or mapping out a 5-year plan that comes with a much bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
But it isn't just about asking and receiving, is it? I mean, the universe doesn't just hand over the keys without testing you.
It never does.
Yeah.
And the test arrives very, very quickly. Just 2 days after that new moon, on April 19, Mars moves forward in the sky and meets up with the planet Saturn right in your career zone.
Oh boy. Saturn. Whenever Saturn shows up, the tone changes completely.
It definitely sobers things up. We need to analyze what happens when these two planets meet. This is called a conjunction. It is when two planets occupy the exact same degree in the sky, blending their energies together.
So they're sitting right on top of each other.
Yes. Now, Mars, as we said, is the gas pedal. It wants to go fast, break things, and win. Saturn is the exact opposite.
Saturn is the brakes.
Yes, Saturn is a planet of boundaries, rules, time, and extreme discipline. Think of Saturn's physical rings. They act like a giant wall.
So you have the gas pedal pressed all the way to the floor, and you suddenly hit a giant concrete wall.
That is exactly what a Mars-Saturn conjunction feels like. It is a massive speed bump. Saturn steps in on April 19th and demands total discipline. The fearless energy of Mars might make you want to, rush through a project to get to the finish line, but Saturn says, no, we are doing this the hard way.
No cutting corners.
Exactly. You cannot take any lazy shortcuts. You cannot ignore the tiny, boring details in the contract or the spreadsheet.
You can't just talk a big game and rely on your charm. You have to actually do the heavy lifting. You have to prove that your big ideas are structurally sound.
Saturn acts as the ultimate quality control inspector who watches every single thing you do. But the beautiful thing about Saturn is that it is incredibly fair.
It's strict but fair.
Yes. It always rewards genuine hard work. If you don't fight the wall, but instead use that Mars energy to patiently lay brick after brick, the results are permanent.
It builds a legacy.
It does. If you put in the long, difficult, unglamorous hours around April 19, your hard work will lead to deep respect for the people above you and very solid, long-lasting rewards.
So the story of the first half of April at work is basically this. Find your bravery, set a huge goal, and then be prepared to work harder and with more focus than you have all year to actually make it a reality.
That sums it up perfectly.
However, there is a very specific warning in the astro charts regarding all this fiery Aries energy floating around.
Yes, there is a significant downside to this transit. While this Aries fire is excellent fuel for your personal career ambitions, it is very difficult for your personal interactions. The charts show that people who strongly carry Aries energy are going to be your absolute worst match for this entire month.
Your worst match? As in, literally walk the other way if you see them coming? Let me try to put this into perspective for the listener.
Go ahead.
Imagine you are a Cancer. You just had a long, highly productive day building that Saturn wall at work. You are exhausted.
Totally drained.
You come home, dim the lights down low, sink into your softest couch, and put on some quiet, relaxing jazz music. You just want to melt into the cushions and recover.
That is the ideal recovery environment for a sensitive water sign.
Right. But then an Aries kicks your front door open. They march into your living room, turn on the brightest, harshest stadium floodlights, plug a massive amplifier into the wall, and start thrashing on a heavy metal electric guitar right in your face.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. It isn't just loud, it is physically jarring. It completely shatters your peaceful jazz vibe. That is what interacting with Aries energy feels like to you this month. It is too loud, it is too fast, and it demands a reaction you just do not have the energy to give.
That is a very vivid and highly accurate analogy. If we analyze the astrological mechanics of why Aries is such a bad match right now, it basically comes down to elemental friction.
Fire and water.
Exactly. Cancer is a water sign, and Aries is a fire sign. When you put fire right under water, the water boils. It creates turbulence. You are naturally gentle and protective, taking your time to process things. Aries energy is moving at lightning speed, focused entirely on action rather than feelings.
The charts even break down how their behavior is going to shift and become more difficult as the month progresses, mirroring the planetary movements we just talked about.
Yes, we can map the timeline of their behavior using the exact same transits. Around April 9, when Mars first enters their sign, they become highly demanding and incredibly impatient.
Like they weren't everything done yesterday.
Exactly. If you were working on a project with an Aries coworker, you might need a day to think through a complex decision. They won't understand that. They will want you to decide right that exact second.
Which just triggers your anxiety and makes you want to retreat further into your shell. And then what happens around April 17th during that new moon?
Well, a new moon in their own sign pushes their focus entirely onto themselves. The archetype of Aries is the warrior, the pioneer, the individual. So around April 17, they become highly self-centered.
It's all about them.
Right. They aren't doing it to be cruel,
Yeah.
but they will likely ignore your needs completely because their vision is narrowed entirely on their own goals and their own fresh starts.
And then the major clash happens on April 19th when Mars hits the Saturn wall.
That is the most dangerous point for your interactions with them. Because Saturn blocks their fast energy, their natural momentum is just stopped.
And they hate being stopped.
They despise it. When an Aries is stopped, they get frustrated. And for that specific fire sign, frustration translates almost immediately into anger.
Oh, no.
Yes. By April 19, their inability to move forward could lead to angry outbursts, harsh words, or temper tantrums that will deeply hurt your sensitive feelings. You are looking for a safe harbor, and they're just looking for a battle to fight to release their pent-up energy.
So the advice here needs to be incredibly clear. As a Cancer, your instinct might be to try and nurture them. You might see them acting out and think, oh, they're stressed, let me try to fix them or calm them down.
Do not do that.
Right, do not do that. The clear advice from the astro data is to avoid them entirely. Do not engage. Protect your own peace of mind. Just walk out of the room, leave the rock concert, and protect your soft jazz.
Absolutely protect your energy. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and all of this intense career drive combined with the effort of dodging aggressive people is going to drain your physical and emotional batteries. You're going to be very, very tired.
Extremely tired. Which brings us to a crucial shift in the middle of the month. After pushing so hard at work and building up those defenses, you have to know how to rest.
Rest is vital here.
You need to know what kind of energy actually heals you and who is safe to lean on. Thankfully, the charts show the sky offering some very soft healing energy to help you recover.
Yes, we really need to look specifically at the geometry of the sky on April 13th. This is a fascinating day in the astrological charts because there are two major things happening simultaneously, pulling different levers in your life.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, Venus makes a friendly angle to Jupiter.
Let's break that down. Venus is the planet that rules love, beauty, and what we value. Jupiter is the giant planet of luck, expansion, and growth. What does a friendly angle mean?
In astrological geometry, this angle is called a sextile. It happens when two planets are exactly 60 degrees apart on the zodiac wheel. Think of the shape of a hexagon, like a honeycomb.
Oh, I love that visual.
It is one of the most structurally sound, naturally flowing shapes in nature. When planets are in a sextile, their energies cooperate easily. They offer an opportunity. So when Venus and Jupiter form this honeycomb structure, it brings a massive flowing wave of lucky energy straight to your love life and your social connections.
It sounds deeply positive, like a window opening up and letting a warm breeze in.
It is. But on that exact same day, April 13, Mars meets up with Neptune. And this is where we have to analyze how the sky is impacting your physical health and your nervous system.
Because Neptune is a very different energy than Jupiter. Neptune is deep, elusive, and highly sensitive, right?
Exactly. Neptune is the planet named after the god of the ocean. It rules invisible things like fogs, dreams, intuition, and energy fields. Neptune dissolves boundaries.
It melts the walls away.
Yes. So when Mars, the planet of physical action, bumps into Neptune, your physical boundaries dissolve. Your sensitive soul will act like a giant emotional sponge.
A sponge.
You will pick up on other people's heavy energy instantly. If someone is sad, anxious, or angry in the room, your body will actually absorb that frequency.
You literally soak it up. So if you walk into a grocery store or an office where people are complaining or arguing, it isn't just annoying, it will drain your physical batteries in a matter of seconds. You will feel physically exhausted by their bad moods.
That is the exact mechanism. That is why you must strictly avoid negative environments around April 13th. Your body simply lacks the hard shell required to deflect it.
The charts offer some incredibly comforting and practical methods for how to protect your physical health during this highly sensitive window. Since your internal environment is picking up so much invisible noise, you need to soothe your physical vessel.
Yes, practical care is so important here.
The charts suggest focusing on eating highly nutritious, warm meals. Think about root vegetables, thick soups, warm stews, or hot oatmeal. Things that are very gentle on a sensitive stomach.
That connects back to the elements perfectly. You are a water sign. When water gets cold, it turns to ice. It becomes rigid. Warmth is very grounding and soothing for your digestion and your nerves.
There's no raw salads.
Exactly. Cold, raw foods like heavy salads or iced drinks might just be too harsh for your system to process right now.
The charts also suggest engaging in very slow, deliberate movements. Slow flow yoga is perfect. You do not want to force yourself into a high-intensity, heavyweight boot camp workout around April 13.
No, absolutely not.
You want to stretch your muscles slowly and breathe deeply to move that stagnant energy out of your body.
It is about gentle maintenance, not tearing the muscles down.
And my personal favorite piece of advice from the charts, take a long, warm bubble bath. Just fill the tub and soak. Water is your natural element.
It's the best medicine for a cancer.
Let the physical water wash away all that heavy, invisible emotional energy you absorbed from the outside world. Let it literally drain away down the pipes.
Water is a deep reset button for your specific sign. Now, while you are taking care of yourself, resting, and avoiding negative people, you must not forget about that lucky Venus and Jupiter honeycomb energy we talked about on that same day.
Right, the lucky wave.
Because while you are in this state of quiet rest, your love life has the opportunity to take a very beautiful, easy turn.
Yes. The charts note that romantic moments aren't going to come from forcing things. You don't need to go out to crowded, loud clubs or force yourself to sit through awkward blind dates with strangers. The lucky energy on April 13 flows best through existing networks. It might bring a sudden romantic crush on a longtime friend.
Someone you already know. Someone who
Yeah.
has already passed your safety tests.
Exactly. The foundation of trust is already there. Or you might meet someone amazing at a very low-key, easygoing social event hosted by your friends.
Like a small gathering.
Yeah, so if your trusted inner circle invites you to a small dinner party or a quiet game night, you should absolutely go.
It is all about safe connections. Which leads us to a crucial question for this part of the month.
Hmm.
If you are feeling this sensitive and you need to build a wall against aggressive people like Aries, who can you actually rely on? Who's going to help you protect your energy?
Yes, let's talk about the hero of the month for our Cancer listeners. The astro data points to one specific sign as your absolute best match for the entire month, and that sign is Capricorn.
Capricorn is the perfect counterbalance for you right now. And if we analyze the structure of the zodiac, it makes perfect logical sense. Capricorn is an earth sign. You are a water sign.
Earth and water.
In nature, water needs a container or else it just spills everywhere and spreads too thin. Earth provides that container. Earth gives water a solid, safe place to pool and rest. Furthermore, Cancer and Capricorn sit exactly opposite each other on the astrological wheel.
They are 180 degrees apart. They are polar opposites.
Exactly. And in astrology, opposite signs are basically two sides of the same coin. Cancer rules the private home, the 4th house, and Capricorn rules public career and structure, the 10th house.
Oh, wow. So they mirror your exact struggle this month.
Because your month is entirely focused on balancing home and career, Capricorn naturally understands exactly what you are going through. They offer firm grounding and highly practical support.
Let's look at how a Capricorn acts during the specific stressful moments we already mapped out. When that full moon on April 2 makes you feel deeply emotional and overwhelmed about your house repairs or your family drama, a Capricorn does not panic.
They're totally calm.
They don't get swept away in the emotional flood. They sit down at the kitchen table with you, pull out a notepad, and provide a calm, logical space to sort the problem out step by step.
They map out a solution. And later, when Mars speeds things up on April 9 and the Aries people at work are yelling and demanding immediate answers, Capricorn steps in as a shield.
They block the noise.
They do. They will look at your chaotic schedule and say, okay, ignore the noise. Do task A first, then task B. I will handle the emails. They help you stay organized.
They are completely, unflinchingly reliable. You can count on them to do exactly what they say. If a Capricorn promises they will pick you up at 5:00 p.m., their car is in your driveway at 4:55 p.m. That predictability is incredibly soothing for your nervous system right now.
That reliability dramatically lowers your anxiety.
This dynamic is just beautiful to observe in the charts. Capricorn's stoic, hardworking nature perfectly balances your deep, nurturing soul. I was trying to picture it, and it makes me think of a strong, sturdy stone wall surrounding a lush, gentle garden.
That's a great image.
The garden, which is you, brings the beauty, the life, and the emotion to the space. But the stone wall, the Capricorn, provides the hard boundary that protects the fragile flowers from the harsh wind outside.
That is a highly accurate representation of the elemental dynamic. And this partnership, or this stabilizing energy, gets even stronger as we move slightly forward in the calendar. On April 20, the sun shifts out of the fire of Aries and moves into the sign of Taurus.
Taurus is another earth sign, so the sky is providing even more of that grounded, safe container energy.
Exactly. Taurus is ruled by Venus, making it a very sensual, calm, and slow-moving sign. When the sun enters Taurus on April 20, the charts show that your relationships, especially romantic ones, will feel incredibly stable and secure.
The drama just fades away.
The drama burns out completely. This is a time to simply enjoy physical presence and simple comforts.
The charts literally highlight the joy of just holding hands and relaxing at home. You don't need to plan expensive, flashy dates. Just sitting on your own couch, sharing a blanket, eating good food, and watching a movie with someone who makes your nervous system feel safe. That is peak romance for you during this Taurus transit. It's about quiet presence.
And April 20 brings one more mechanical shift that you will definitely love. While you are enjoying that simple, grounded comfort at home, your financial charts show a sudden upward spike in luck.
Wait, a financial spike just randomly on that day?
It isn't random. It is deeply structural. The movement of the sun into Taurus activates your 11th house, which is connected to the gains you make from your career.
Oh, like the rewards from all that hard work.
Exactly. It also forms supportive angles to other planets in your chart. The result is that you might receive a completely unexpected bonus at work, or a surprise financial gift, or a return on an investment you had just completely forgotten about.
So picture this.
Yeah.
You're sitting on your comfortable couch, holding hands with someone you deeply trust, feeling completely protected by that earth energy. Your nervous system is quiet. And then your phone buzzes on the coffee table with an alert that extra cash just cleared into your bank account.
It's a perfect evening.
That sounds like an absolute dream scenario.
It is the universe's reward for all the heavy lifting and boundary setting you did with Saturn earlier in the month. And it sets your foundation perfectly for the final part of April, which brings some of the most dynamic, exciting energy of the entire year.
Let's dive into late April, because once you are well rested and once you feel financially and emotionally supported by your community and your Capricorn allies, the astrological charts show the universe throwing some brilliant, highly exciting surprises onto your path.
We need to look closely at the mechanics of April 21. This is a massive shift because the moon enters your own sign of Cancer.
The moon is your ruling planet. Every zodiac sign has a boss planet, and yours is the moon. So when the moon moves into Cancer, it is like the boss is finally back in their own office.
Yes, it is in its home territory.
It feels most at home. Also, I want to highlight that the astro data points out April 21 as one of your two absolute best dates of the entire month. The other one was April 8.
When a ruling planet returns to its home sign, it operates with maximum efficiency. We have to analyze what this specific lunar return does to your mind and body on April 21. Because the moon rules emotions and instincts, its return brings a massive boost of personal power.
Personal power. I love that.
You will feel deeply physically connected to your own intuition. It brings a wave of deep healing energy to your mind.
It brings emotional clarity. So if you were confused earlier in the month, maybe wondering if you were working too hard for that promotion or if you should really trust that new friend you met on April 21, the mental fog just totally lifts.
It vanishes.
You don't have to guess anymore. Your body will just know the answer.
The fog completely disappears. The mechanics of this transit mean you will finally understand exactly what your heart truly needs to feel safe and happy. Because of that clarity, you'll be able to completely release old worries that have been dragging your energy down. You won't need to overthink them anymore.
It is like you have been hiking up a mountain carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks, and on April 21, you finally realize you can just take the backpack off and leave it on the trail. You stand up straight, your shoulders drop, and you take a deep breath.
That physical relief is exactly what it feels like.
And it's a good thing you get that clear, grounded energy because just a few days later, on April 24, the sky gets completely wild.
April 24 is one of the most action-packed days of the month. Two major events happen simultaneously, creating a cascade of unexpected events. First, Venus meets the planet Uranus. Then, the moon reaches its first quarter phase in the sign of Leo.
I want to unpack April 24 carefully because Venus meeting Uranus is the definition of wild, unpredictable magic. We know Venus handles love, values, and money. But Uranus is the wild card of the solar system.
It really is.
Literally, Uranus rotates on its side compared to the other planets. It breaks the rules. It is the planet of sudden surprises, lightning bolts, and sudden radical changes. When Venus and Uranus crash into each other in a conjunction, you cannot possibly plan for what happens next.
You cannot plan for it because Uranus rules the unexpected. But you can analyze the areas of your chart where this lightning will strike so you can be ready to catch the energy.
Okay, where does the lightning strike?
The charts break down exactly how these sudden changes will likely manifest in 3 different areas of your life on April 24. Let us look at your social life first.
Okay, socially, what kind of lightning strike are we talking about?
The conjunction happens in a way that positively shocks your social circle. You might suddenly cross paths with a completely unique friend.
Someone totally new.
Yes. This will be someone totally different from anyone you usually hang out with. Maybe someone from a completely different culture or someone with a very eccentric job. And this person's perspective will act like a key, completely unlocking a new way for you to view the world.
I love that. Like sitting next to a stranger on a train or striking up a conversation in line for coffee, and 10 minutes later, your brain is just buzzing with new ideas. What about the romantic lightning strike?
In romance, expect a massive spark of completely unexpected connection. Uranus speeds things up. If you are single, you might suddenly receive a highly surprising, sweet message from somebody you assumed wasn't interested.
A surprise text.
Yes. Or you might find yourself saying yes to a wild, completely unplanned date that totally steals your heart.
A wild, unplanned date. For a Cancer who loves to plan out their week and usually prefers staying home, this is a massive shift. The sky is telling you to say yes to a last-minute adventure. Don't overthink the outfit, just go.
Exactly. Just ride the wave.
And what about work and money on April 24? How does Uranus shake up the finances?
Work and money get the exact same sudden electric boost. Uranus rules technology and networks. You could experience a totally amazing networking opportunity out of nowhere.
Like bumping into a CEO in an elevator.
Right. You might accidentally bump into a very powerful person in your industry, and a casual 5-minute conversation could alter your entire career path. Or you might discover a completely surprising new way to generate income online, a sudden digital financial windfall.
Okay, the energy of this day is incredible. Let me use an analogy to tie all three of these together. April 24 is basically like putting your hand into the pocket of a winter coat you haven't worn in a year and finding a crisp $20 bill.
Always a great feeling.
It's a great surprise. But then, right at that exact second, your phone vibrates with a super sweet text message from a crush you thought had forgotten about you. And as you're reading the text and smiling, your boss calls to offer you the dream project you thought went to someone else. It's layered, unexpected joy, all in the exact same afternoon.
That is exactly the kind of sudden, joyful, stacked luck the geometry of Venus and Uranus produces.
And we cannot forget the Leo moon on that day either. The moon moves into a first quarter phase, which demands action, and it does it in Leo, the sign of royalty and performance. The charts highly encourage you to treat yourself.
Treat yourself like royalty.
Use some of that lucky energy to celebrate. Book a relaxing massage or get dressed up in an outfit that makes you feel amazing and have a highly fun night out with those trusted friends. Celebrate the fact that the universe just handed you a win.
Taking the time to celebrate is mechanically important because it locks in that positive psychological energy. It signals to your brain that it is safe to enjoy success.
It wires it in.
Yes. But as we move past that peak and head toward the very end of the month, the energy in the sky shifts one last time, requiring a bit of cleanup.
Right. Because if you want to make room for all these amazing new eccentric friends, the sudden money, and the unexpected romance, you have to clean out your emotional closet. You can't bring rusty old junk into a shiny new future.
That is the perfect psychological framework for the final week of April. It is about releasing the past to step fully into the future. But there is one final astrological hurdle to clear, and it requires you to act with extreme maturity.
Okay, what is the hurdle?
On April 25, the Sun forms a square aspect to the planet Pluto.
Let's explain the mechanics of a square. And whenever Pluto is involved, things always get a little intense and shadowy.
A square aspect in the charts is a 90-degree angle between two planets. Imagine two cars driving toward the exact same four-way intersection at the exact same speed.
Okay, a collision course.
If neither of them hits the brakes, they crash. That is what a square brings. It brings structural friction. It forces a moment where two different parts of your life are on a collision course, and a decision must be made about who gets the right of way.
And one of those cars is driven by Pluto. Pluto is the planet of the underworld. It deals with deep power dynamics, control, hidden secrets, and shared resources. So what is the warning here when the sun crashes into Pluto?
The warning for April 25 is very strict. Because Pluto rules the underworld of finances, you must be extremely careful to avoid getting sucked into a nasty power struggle over shared money or an old, heavy debt.
Shared money. So this could be a joint bank account you share with a partner. It could be arguing with roommates over who pays for what on a shared lease.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's an old debt. Someone owes you money and they keep making excuses. Or a credit card bill arrives and the charges look wrong, making you furious.
Yes, those are perfect examples. The square creates an ego battle. The sun represents your ego, and Pluto represents a hidden power trying to control you. Someone or some institution might try to push you around financially.
And you just want to fight back.
Your instinct might be to fight back with equal aggression, but the advice from the charts is to hit the brakes. Stay completely calm, do not yell, do not send an angry email, and do not fight back with ego. Handle your cash and your financial conversations with deep, stoic maturity.
Take your emotions entirely out of the math. If someone is trying to bait you into a fight over a bill, don't take the bait.
Precisely. If you stay calm, stick to the facts, and act like the adult in the room, you will totally disarm their Pluto power play. You will protect your wealth and cross the finish line of the month feeling truly in control and truly rich.
So breathe deep, Look at the numbers objectively and just handle the business. That makes total sense. And once you clear that intersection on the 25th, the very next day, April 26th, the energy lightens up dramatically, but it also goes very quiet and very inward.
Yes. April 26th is a huge day for shifting the backdrop of your life because two different planets change signs on the same day. Both Uranus and Venus move out of Taurus and enter the sign of Gemini.
Gemini is an air sign. It is usually very chatty, curious, and active. But for a Cancer, Gemini rules a very specific, quiet part of your chart.
Yes, Gemini rules your 12th house. In astrology, the 12th house is the hidden sector. It is the realm of the subconscious, secrets, dreams, and things done behind closed doors.
The private life.
Exactly. When we analyze Uranus, the planet of sudden change entering this hidden sector, it explains a deep psychological shift you are going to experience. Uranus wants freedom at all costs. As it enters your subconscious, you will feel a strong, sudden urge to completely release old emotional baggage. You will want to free your soul from past heavy burdens that you have been carrying in secret for years.
It is like doing a massive, sudden spring cleaning of your own mind. You pull out old regrets, old fears you've been hiding, old grudges against people from your past, and you just toss them in the trash. You realize you don't need to carry them anymore.
And this internal cleaning process often inspires sudden, real-world changes. The charts show that with Uranus in the 12th house, you might suddenly pivot your professional goals. After all that hard work building the Saturn wall early in the month, you might decide you want to use your free time to start a highly private passion project.
Something just for you.
Something just for you, not for your boss. Something you work on alone in your room.
A secret hobby, like writing a novel or learning to paint or starting a side business that you don't tell anyone about until it's perfect. And what happens with Venus entering Gemini? Venus is the planet of love, moving into the same hidden 12th house sector.
This placement makes your romantic life very private and deeply secretive. Remember those wild surprises and sparks on April 24. If you met someone amazing during that lightning strike, by April 26, you will want to completely hide this new romance from the public eye.
No posting couple pictures on social media, no gossiping about it with your loud coworkers at the water cooler.
Exactly. You will want to lock the doors, keep the outside world away, and just enjoy the sweet, quiet magic totally behind closed doors. You will find that keeping the relationship a secret actually makes the bond stronger and the romance even more exciting. It protects the fragile early stages of love.
I love that image. It is like having a beautiful secret garden that only you and your partner have the key to. Nobody else gets to see the flowers.
That's a beautiful way to phrase it.
The charts also indicate that this hidden Gemini energy might inspire you to completely change your physical routines in private. You might decide to change your daily diet or try an unusual spiritual healing practice. Maybe you buy a book on meditation and start practicing it in secret every morning, or you explore a new gentle health routine just for your own mental well-being.
Listening closely to those deep, quiet physical and spiritual needs is exactly the right move. Honoring that 12th house need for privacy is what will keep you perfectly healthy and totally strong as the month comes to a close. By releasing the heavy bags and focusing on your private joy, you will end April feeling completely renewed.
Completely renewed. What an amazing, intense journey from the start of the month to the end. From fighting for your career to finding quiet peace in a secret garden. Before we wrap up today's forecast, I want to open up what I call your lucky toolbox. The Astro Data gives us some extra, very specific tools for the month of April to keep in your back pocket.
These are simple, practical, symbolic tools you can use to consciously attract positive energy all month long.
Exactly. First up, your lucky color for the month is silver. And if you happen to be buying anything online, picking out a paint color or designing something digitally, the exact hex color code to look for is hashtag C0C0C0. Silver is the metallic color associated with the moon, which is your ruling planet. Wearing silver jewelry or a silver shirt is a great, subtle way to boost your natural personal power.
It acts as a physical reminder of your lunar connection. And you also have specific lucky numbers generated from the charts to watch out for.
Yes. Your lucky numbers for April are 4, 18, 22, 31, 45, and 52. If you are picking dates for an event, looking at addresses for a new apartment, or even just noticing patterns on a clock, keep an eye out for those numbers. They carry a very supportive flowing energy for you this month.
It is always good to have those little signs to look for. It keeps you grounded in the present moment.
It really does. Well, we have covered so much ground today. From the heavy full moon pushing you to fix your home, to the fiery Mars energy demanding you step up at work, to navigating the Saturn wall, catching the sudden lightning bolts of Uranus, and finally cleaning out the psychological closet at the end of the month.
It is a month of massive structural transformation. And as we finish up our analysis, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as you move forward. We talked a lot about the concept of safety today.
We did. The comfortable shell, the bank account, the stone wall.
Yes. So if true emotional safety ultimately comes from inside you, as the charts strongly show happens on April 21st, when the moon finally enters your sign, what is one heavy, outdated emotional burden you can completely drop right now, today, so that your hands are totally free to catch the sudden luck coming your way at the end of the month?
That is a powerful question. You can't catch the new blessings if your hands are full of old garbage. Drop the burden.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Horoscope TV. We love mapping out these cosmic shifts for you. It is a joy to share this forecast and analyze these charts with you.
If you enjoyed this and want to make sure you never miss a forecast, please subscribe to the show. That way you will get notified the exact moment the next episode is available. Have a beautiful, brave, and incredibly lucky April. Cancers, you have got this.